Hello everyone, just before we get started, I wanted to make it very clear. I don't have a problem with any of these dinosaurs being playables, if it wasn't for how many goddamn playables that Isles has planned. These are just my opinions. You guys are more than welcome, jeez I can't talk, to disagree with them. And I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But with that out of the way, let's get into this. First up, Cauthasaurus. Gonna try not to spend too much time on it because it's pretty simple my problems with it, but this thing is just a fucking clone of Para, but it's small, okay? Let's be honest, alright? I'm sure it would be a fun dinosaur to play, but please, like, tell me, how is this thing gonna end up as anything but a smaller, weaker Para? And we already have a smaller, weaker Para in Maya. Like, if we don't need Cauthasaurus, it is just a waste of time. Hell, we even have Tenonto now, which I know isn't a Hadrosaur, but let's be honest, if you ask the average person to point out a Hadrosaur in a group of dinosaurs and Tenonto would be in it, most people would just assume it's a Hadrosaur. And I'm tired of pretending like Corey is going to be anything special besides just being a clone of Para. Like, this would pretty much would be if the Tarbo nerds from Legacy managed to convince Dondi to add Tarbosaurus. Like, please, let's be honest with ourselves. Cauthasaurus is just a waste of time. It'd be smaller, probably maybe it'd be faster, but smaller, less attack, less stam. It just would have all of Para's problems, but even less. Or but even worse. Jeez, I'll be alright. Alright, moving on. Alrighty, now we got Homo. To be honest, there's not much I have to say that people already probably haven't said about this thing. It's tiny. It's just juvie Packy. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's gonna play exactly like Packy, but small, and bully the other tiny dinosaurs like Troodon. But yeah, so moving on. All right, on to one of my favorite dinosaurs ever, but sadly I had to put it on this list. Is Pachyrhino. And in my opinion, the owl's got a bit of a ceratopsian problem. Because there's not just one, two, three, not even five, four, but five of them planned. With that being Protoceratops, Avaceratops, Dibble, Styraco, Pachyrhino, and Triceratops. And to be honest, we don't need all of them. And with Pachyrhino being the one that's the least needed out of the five. I'm sure it's the most unique looking one out of all of them, lacking any of the real horns like the other guy. Well, Proto's like that too, but I doubt the devs would make a whole new system based around the fact that it doesn't have horns, so this thing would just end up being a slightly smaller Triceratops. And I know you're also probably thinking, why aren't Proto and Styraco in here? Because Proto would just be a smaller Ava, and Styraco is just a slightly smaller Proto and Pachyrhino and Trike. And to be honest, they were very much almost here, but I wanted to try and keep this video pretty short, because if I ramble, I just end up sounding I sound stupid already, but if I ever make a part 2, they for sure will probably be in there. But Styraco escaped being on here due to it being a slightly better in-between dino from Dibble to Trike, now that Dibble is only 1,500, or only weighs 1,500 kilograms. Which I think is a little light for him anyways. And for Proto, well, I mean, look at him. He's kind of adorable. Like, he's got an adorable little face. Like, who doesn't want to see that walking around? Anyways, on to the last one. Alright, and finally, we come to what will make everyone hate me till the end of time, and the most controversial opinion I would probably ever have in the Isle, but Suchomimus. I know, I can hear everyone getting pissed off at me already, but just hold your horses, hear me out please. Let's get one thing clear. From what we've seen from the devs, they look like they've done a good job in the art-wise, at least making Sucho stand out a bit more from its fellow semi-aquatic carnivores. And to be honest, Sucho was one of my favorite dinosaurs in Legacy, which pains me to add him here. But I kind of feel like Sucho's lost its spot in the Isle's very fragile food chain that it has. With Dino kind of taking Suko's spot now. And I know, they play nothing alike. I know. But size-wise, they're both kind of in that category of close to being an apex predator, but while not being an apex predator. Yes, I know Deinosuchus was an apex predator when it actually existed, but the Isle isn't real life, so I can say what I want. Har har. And compared to the other fishers, which I'll use that term lightly because there aren't any real fishers in the Isle, you could say Terra maybe, but Suko just doesn't have that spot anymore like in Legacy. Because Legacy was just Barry, Suko, and Spino. But now Barry and Suko already kind of fit the Fisher role. And Dino sits that kind of in between now as a semi aquatic. Maybe the devs still could do something, but Suko just feels like it's in a weird spot now and isn't as important as it once was in Legacy as it is now with the new version of the owl. I'm not calling it Evrima, even though I probably have, because, yeah, public service announcement. Can we all just start calling it the Isle again? Because let's be honest, Legacy is dead. Getting a bit off topic, but anyways, back to Suko. Hopefully the devs will prove me wrong, but it kind of just feels like it's a better Barry. And I have very big Barry bias because Barry is my child and we must protect him at all cost. But I honestly don't think we need Suko as much as we used to. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you guys around. Bye bye.